Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and we are now going to discuss the Imola Grand Prix which just happened, or the San Marino Grand Prix, whatever. The third Grand Prix to take place in Italy this year, which is fine. And honestly, this was much more palatable than the Portuguese Grand Prix, which I didn't do a video about because, frankly, it was so boring. I didn't really have anything to say about it. So I skipped it and talked about IndyCar instead, about 4 days late. But I have watched the San Marino Grand Prix, so we'll talk about that in just a second. But first, I just want to thank you for helping me reach 100 subscribers. Now's a good time to subscribe because next week there's going to be a video every day, all fairly special. They're all sort of things I've been planning since the start of the channel and just haven't got round to yet. So every day of the week, next week, new video. So stick around and thank you. And sit back, relax, and let's begin.
Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
So, whilst this race was more entertaining, it doesn't mean there's necessarily a lot that went on. It was pretty much the standard Formula 1 race. It was more palatable, as I said. It wasn't exactly 10 out of 10 excitement. But a lot of the things you expected to happen, happened. So, there's that. I actually missed the first 4 laps, so I don't know how Hamilton went down to third behind Verstappen. I don't know what happened to Lance Stroll. And, you know, I only caught the replay of Magnussen and Vettel getting together and Magnussen spinning. That's when I tuned in. So I did miss the start, but it doesn't matter. This was a pretty easy race again for Mercedes, especially as Bottas was damaged as well. So it looked like Verstappen was going to have second place after he got past Bottas, which he did a good job doing that. But it was really easy for Hamilton after the first pit stops, with Bottas hobbled and, you know, every car on the grid being hobbled compared to the Mercedes. There's not really anyone to contest with him, so it was another pretty meaningless win. I'm pretty sure I'll go onto the news websites in a minute and I'll say Hamilton in best drive ever, because they always do. Which is weird because it actually makes it less special when he does do a really good job. And he did. He was quick when he needed to be, and it was fairly simple for him. Bottas damage to his car, probably did well just to survive. He looked like he went off a couple of times. He probably did okay. It's fine. Verstappen, unlucky again with tyre letting go. No points for Red Bull because Albon spun at the end as well, so not a good weekend for them. It proves how far behind they really are and how hard they have to push to even be on a competitive level. Verstappen really is my driver of the year just because he can hang with the Mercedes to a point. There's just a point where as much as he can give, it's just not enough. But to even be close to him at any point in the year, really, that is more impressive than winning the championship, because you expect Mercedes to win a championship. You don't really expect anyone to keep near them, and Verstappen does on occasion. But I think he pushes the car too hard, and things like this are bound to happen. It's not been a great year for him, really, and he's pretty much stuck in third. So he's my driver of the year. But it's a sad state of Formula 1 where no matter how hard you try, you're going to lose to Mercedes. Everyone else on the grid, Ricciardo's doing a great job, another podium for him. It's interesting to see how Renault have got on this year and how they've improved and where that means they'll be next year as Alpine, with Fernando Alonso as well, when you're not sure how quickly he's going to get used to the cars again, because it's been a few years. I'm sure there's going to be time needed to get back into the action. As good as Alonso is, it's just normal for human beings. You saw when Michael Schumacher came back with Mercedes, for example, that it's not necessarily easy to take a few years off and then jump straight back in. But McLaren, I think they've struggled to keep up the development a little bit. They sort of dropped back from Renault and Racing Point. Again, it'll be interesting to see where they are next year with Mercedes power and Ricciardo and Norris behind the wheel. I think they've got a good future. I think they're going to have a good couple of years. Racing Point, Perez did a good job. It was a mistake with the pit stops, but I don't think it really matters to them. it's more points. Stroll, I don't know what happened to him, so I don't know if it was his fault or not, but this is what, 5-6 races in a row where he's not scored since his podium at Monza. It's a big shame because he was 4th in the championship. He was having a great year. I would completely change my mind about him. But now he's sort of dropping back down the field and not scoring points. It's a story of two halves. I mean, hopefully he'll score some more points before the end of the season. I think he's only got like 4 races left. And again, it'll be interesting as Aston Martin because they haven't announced Stroll yet. And I'm sure they will. But it makes you wonder why they're taking so long to do it. I mean, they've pretty much announced Perez will not be racing for the team. So unless they get Hulkenberg back, I can't see why they do that with Lance Stroll's dad running the company. But it'll be interesting to see how he gets on next year with Vettel as his teammate. Because I think, based on this year's performance, Lance Stroll could beat Vettel. Because once again, Vettel did not score points. He didn't really even look to be challenging for points. He went long on his tyres, got up to 4th, and he's doing an okay job. Bad pit stop through it all the way. That can't be helped, but he didn't do anything from 13th on new tyres, so that pretty much sums up Vettel's year. Leclerc, another great drive being up there. Unlucky at the end on old tyres, lost out to Kvyat. But, I mean, he's 5th in the championship, which is definitely not where Ferrari are. So, again, Leclerc is another driver doing a very good job this year. AlphaTauri, Gasly was doing a great job all weekend. 4th in qualifying is amazing. And he was quick all weekend. He deserved to be there. I think it was a coolant leak that ended his race. That is a huge shame because, I mean, he would have been above Kvyat. So you could say 3rd, 4th were on the cards for him today. Didn't happen for him. It's kind of a shame, but Gasly's done a great job. And I'm not surprised AlphaTauri have kept him. But given Albon's constant mistakes, he made that one today, I can't see why Gasly isn't being moved back up to Red Bull. Apparently he's fallen out with Helmut Marko. But if it's just a case of a personal reason to keep him down a little bit, that's not good enough. He's doing a great job for AlphaTauri. It's worth giving him another chance in the Red Bull, surely. I'm not saying get rid of Albon entirely. If you're intent on bringing Yuki Tsunoda up, have Albon and Tsunoda at AlphaTauri. Daniel Kvyat did a great job again today. He came 4th. And that, again, that wasn't just luck, being in the right place at the right time. He was in the top 10 most of the race, pretty much all of it. Yeah, he was fine. Daniel Kvyat can do a job. He makes mistakes every now and again, but he can, on his day, do a job. It'd be a shame to lose him, but I'm pretty sure that's the route we're going down. And if he can have a good end of the year, it's a good way to sign off his Formula 1 career, which has been very up and down. But that seems to be the way they're going. I think it will be... Will they keep Albon at Red Bull next year? That's the biggest question on the grid right now, because Gasly's confirmed, and it's all but confirmed that Yuki Tsunoda will be at AlphaTauri. And you can kind of guess where Haas are going. We'll get to Haas in a minute. Alfa Romeo have confirmed, Williams have confirmed. There's not many seats left, so that Red Bull seat is interesting. And Albon could do with a good end of the year just to secure a drive. But if they are set on replacing him, it's a case of who are they replacing him with. Again, there's not many choices on the grid. Is it Perez and Hulkenberg? That's pretty much it. Because Grosjean and Magnussen may be flying around, but I don't think Red Bull would touch them. And they don't have the sponsorship to buy a seat, so... It's a hard one for Red Bull. For me, I mean, I can't see why you wouldn't have Verstappen, Gasly, Albon and Tsunoda. I think that's a fairly decent driver lineup. And if the seat comes available again, you can give Albon another chance. Or just do what you did with Daniel Kvyat and keep him in that AlphaTauri Toro Rosso seat. So that's the real main story going into the end of the year, is what Red Bull will do for 2021. Not many teams left. Alfa Romeo, both drivers did a good job today. Both scored points. Both been confirmed for next year, which surprised me. I thought they were the one team that would change completely, because Raikkonen... I can't see why Raikkonen wants to continue, other than he seems to enjoy it, I guess. Giovinazzi has made so many mistakes, but he's doing better this year than he was last year, so I guess it's reasonable to give him another chance. Maybe they'll just give it till the new regulations change. We'll see. Haas, pretty much the same thing you get from Haas every weekend. Magnussen spun, ruined his race, eventually retired. Grosjean was somewhere in the field. I don't think I saw him all race. Both of them are leaving. Mick Schumacher to Haas. It's Yeah, Mick Schumacher's done a really good job in Formula 2 this year. I'm pretty sure he's going to win it because he's been very consistent. But I think moving it up to Haas is a dangerous idea just because that car doesn't look good. It's not been good all year. It's probably been about on terms with the Williams all year. And it's a hard car to score points in. So it'll be interesting to see what Mick Schumacher does at Haas. But I should imagine he'll only be there a couple of years before moving up to Ferrari anyway. Which I think is dangerous for Carlos Sainz. Because I'm sure they want Mick Schumacher in that Ferrari. As for Nikita Mazepin, I mean, apparently he has a very good sponsorship package to bring, and money is good for Haas, I suppose. It'll help their development, I guess. All I've ever seen of Nikita Mazepin is a very average Formula 2 driver. He is capable, but I don't think he's anything amazing. There's a lot of really good drivers in Formula 2. But if you're just going to choose someone because of a sponsorship package, then I guess Nikita Mazepin is fine. I don't think he's bad. I just don't. He's nothing special. It's sort of the biggest problem with Formula 1 is that yes, it's a money sport and big sponsorship packages matter. But you have drivers like Luca Giotto and I mean people like Norman Nato and Jordan King all fell through the cracks. They're all really good drivers who could have probably done something in Formula 1, but because you haven't got smaller teams up there anymore, or there's just so few seats available, a lot of drivers just seem to end up going nowhere with their careers, and it's kind of sad. But that's always kind of been the case. I mean, not so much in the 80s and 90s when there were so many Formula 1 teams on the grid. There was like 30 teams or whatever. There wasn't, like 15, 16. And you're right, you'd have pre-qualifying, so not all of them would make it to race day. In fact, most of them wouldn't, the smaller teams. But it gave drivers a chance to be in Formula 1. And it's kind of a shame that you can spend your first 10 or so years in motorsport going up from karting, the junior formula, and make it through Formula 3 and Formula 2 doing well, only to not have a Formula 1 drive available for you at the end of it because there aren't enough teams on the grid, or no one's changing seats this year, so you'll have to just go sideways into something else. Like De Vries, who's had to go to Formula E. Now he's with Mercedes, he's in a good place in that series, but he's never really going to get a chance in Formula 1 unless something amazing happens. Maybe Mercedes decide that, seeing as Hamilton and Bottas have pretty much secured their positions in the championship, let's just switch Van Dorn and De Vries in to give them a chance to win a Formula 1 race. Why not? It'd be a bit of fun. Someone else might win then, and it'll be very, very exciting. They're not going to do it. Williams is the last team. Russell, oh, he's unlucky. I mean, it's his fault. He crashed under the safety car. And to make matters worse, Latifi finished 11th, so Latifi is almost guaranteed to be not last in the championship at Russell's expense. But both drivers confirmed for next year. They're both really good drivers. So I think Williams can be fairly happy with their performance today, despite the crash. I think the silly season is almost over because there aren't many seats left. I mean, Hamilton hasn't been confirmed at Mercedes, but he will be. They will pay any money to get him, which I'm sure is the main talking point. As for everyone else, as I said, the Red Bull seat, I'm sure the AlphaTauri seat will be confirmed. Yuki Tsunoda. It seems fairly set. Well, I'd say mostly set that Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin will be at Haas, which is fine. They'll do okay. Probably do better than Grosjean and Magnussen, honestly. And Williams have confirmed, so that's it. That's all. I mean, look, again, Lance Stroll will probably be confirmed at Aston Martin at some point. There isn't really much more to say about this year because there is nothing to really, no stakes left in the series. Hamilton is basically confirmed first, as he was in Australia before it got cancelled. Bottas is pretty much set for second now. Verstappen will be third. The best battle in the field is for fourth because it's quite close between Ricciardo, Leclerc and Perez. I don't think Sainz, Norris and Stroll are that far behind, and they're quite close to each other. So, we're watching the midfield to see where they all end up. Third in the manufacturers, fourth in the drivers. It's not the best, it's not the biggest stakes in the world, is it? But that's how Formula 1 is nowadays, and people love it. They love watching Lewis Hamilton win every year with about 4 races left, meaning that there's nothing really to watch for the last 4 races. And I'm sure at Turkey, Hamilton will be confirmed champion. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 100 subscribers. And I'll see you next week. Have a good one.